Carl. It's Bart here with Fat Bastard Barbecue. Today we're going to be doing a video on brisket. We're going to trim it up. We're going to put a dry rub on it. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to put it in the refrigerator, sit overnight. We're going to be cooking it tomorrow. Today we're going to be using USDA Prime Black Angus brisket. I use this anytime I do a cook-off, anytime I cook for friends or family. Anytime I can find it, I buy it and I use it. If I can't find Black Angus, I will use USDA Prime, and I prefer not to use choice beef. Alright, so we've got it out of the packaging now. And what I'm going to do is just trim this up just a little bit. This one came from the butcher, already trimmed. It's not how I prefer it. I prefer to do it all myself. This is the way it came. The point's missing. This is actually called the flat. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this gray meat off right here. This is what happens at the meatpacking plant. You don't want this on your brisket. For competition, it's going to make an ugly cut, and you just don't want to have that. So I'm going to go ahead, take my knife, and I'm going to start trimming that off. I'm not going to trim a lot off, just that part that I need, because again, it's not going to help me at all. It's not going to add any flavor. Cut that. I'm just going to toss it. A couple other things I'm going to do today on this one. So I am going to be taking quite a bit of this off, this fat on the back here. While I do think that you should have as much fat as possible, because the fat will actually render down and make it really juicy and give it a lot of great flavor, some of this stuff you just don't want. I'm going to be taking this gray skin off here, because the gray skin, when it's on here, it makes it tough, makes it hard to cut. So you just want to go ahead and take that off of there. You're going to want to get your real sharp knife. I use a fillet knife here. Always want to cut away from yourself. Some of the pieces here, like the end of this, you'll see is hanging off. You just want to go ahead and remove that. You want to have it be uniform. So I'm going to do a lot of trimming here that you're not going to see. I'm just going to cut it out. But this is the grain of the brisket. You can see it's running this way towards this end. So whenever I go ahead and cut this up and put it in my boxes, I'm going to be cutting it from this side. So I'm just going to notch it. So I'll know that I'm going to cut from here. And probably if I was doing this for competition, I would get my turn-in pieces from right in this region here. Take a few little pieces off here. I still got a little bit of this gray meat. I'm going to go ahead and just trim it down just a little. I don't want to get too deep here because I don't want to take out any of the actual meat from the brisket. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off some of this right here. This fat is real thick. It will not render out and it will not add anything to flavor or juiciness. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this and remove some of it. But I'm not going to end up having to take much off because, like I said, the butcher's already trimmed it quite a bit. You hear a lot of people say, oh, you want about a 1/4 inch of fat on there. I don't go by that. Because if I'm doing turn-ins, I'm not really worried about this part anyway, because my turn-ins are coming from over in this region. The part I am missing is the point over here on the end. That's where you get your burn-ins from, and that is really some good barbecue. That'll be in the next video. Alright, so I went ahead and I got it all trimmed off, as much off as I wanted to trim. I got a lot of the excess fat that was on top. I got quite a bit of the silver skin off, and I've already applied my binder to it. You can use any kind of oil, vegetable, olive oil, whatever you want to add there. And the reason for the binder is because brisket does not have a lot of blood in it, and you're going to want to have something that's going to be an adhesive for the rub that you're going to use. One thing to note I didn't point out earlier is that there's a really deep pocket of fat back here. You're going to want to go ahead and remove that because, again, it won't render out and it's going to add nothing to the brisket. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply a little bit of rub I'm not going to go too crazy on it here because I don't want to have the rub overpower the beef. And then I'll smooth it out once I get it on how I like. I like to use a shaker. Some people just use their hand. Again, I like to use a shaker because I can control it. Alright, so now I went ahead and applied my binder to the top. I'm going to go ahead and get this rub going on here. I'll probably put the rub quite a bit heavier on the top. As the fat on the top renders down, it'll draw that rub right into the meat. That's about how I like to do it, like that. So you got a nice little mixture there. Salt and pepper is predominantly what you're seeing in there. Now from this point I'm just going to wrap it, put it in a pan, put it in the fridge, let it sit overnight, and then I'm going to smoke it probably about 10 hours. Halfway through the smoking process I'm going to go ahead and wrap it and put it back on the smoker, pull it off at the 10-hour mark, it'll be done. I cook for about 225 to 250. Really don't measure the temperature with the thermometer. I just know that at the end of 10 hours how it feels, the texture of it, the pliability in it, it'll be done. Alright, so we got the brisket all wrapped up. It's in the fridge. Thank you guys for watching us. I want you to go ahead and visit us over at facebook.com/fatbastardsbbq. Go ahead and hit the subscribe link. Feel free to make any comments that you like, ask any questions. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And visit our website, fatbastardsbbq.com.